Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call to order this Tuesday. We're limiting the echo in here.
That was a pretty bold start there.
Thank you. I'd like to call to order this Tuesday, May 7th meeting of the Pierce County Council. The time is 3:03 p.m. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Thank you. Councilmember Campbell.
Excused.
Councilmember Cooper.
Here.
Councilmember Denson. Councilmember Herrera.
Here.
Councilmember Hitchin.
Here.
Councilmember Morrell.
Here.
And Councilmember Mello.
Here.
There's 6 members present, Mr. Chair.
We have 6 members present and a quorum. Item number 3 is our Pledge of Allegiance to the flag and our land acknowledgement. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag led by Councilmember Herrera, followed by a moment of silence dedicated to our men and women serving overseas in the military, and then the land acknowledgement read by Councilmember Herrera.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We acknowledge that we are on the traditional homelands of the Coast Salish tribes. Coast Salish people have lived on and stewarded these lands since time immemorial and continue to do so today. We recognize that this land acknowledgement is one small step toward true allyship, and we commit to the uplifting voices, experiences, and histories of the indigenous people of this land.
Thank you, Councilmember Herrera. We're now at Section 4, approval of our agenda. Are there any objections to approving today's agenda as presented? Seeing no objection, the agenda is approved. On today's council agenda, there will be multiple opportunities for public comment. On the consent agenda, you may provide comment on any final action item. This does not include items simply placed on the agenda for introduction and scheduling. On today's consent agenda, there are 2 appointment resolutions up for final action. If those individuals are present, we will move them to the regular business. During sections 8 and 9 of the agenda, we will take public comment on each ordinance and resolution individually. And then finally, under community forum, there will be an opportunity to address the council on any topic that is not on today's agenda. For information on the rules for public participation, please review the bottom of page 1 of today's agenda. So we're now at Section 5, the consent agenda. Does any member wish to pull any item from the consent agenda? Councilmember Morrell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move approval of the consent agenda as amended, moving item C to B to Section 9.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we adopt the consent agenda with the exception of moving item C to B to Section 9 of our agenda. C2A remains on the agenda as a final action item. So we'll open this up for a public hearing, which includes the appointment of 1 new member to the Pierce County Arts Commission. That's a final action item. So does any member wish to provide comment on that final action item on our consent agenda? Not anyone here in chambers, not seeing anybody, Mr. Weinsberry, anybody in our Zoom room for our consent agenda?
Yes, sir. For any members of the public who wish to provide comment on any final action items, press the raise hand icon on Zoom or *9 on your telephone keypad. And I see no hands at this time, Chair.
Seeing no hands, we'll close the public hearing, bring it back to the council. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll on the consent agenda?
Councilmember Cooper.
Aye.
Councilmember Denson.
Aye.
Councilmember Herrera.
Aye.
Councilmember Hitchin.
Aye.
Councilmember Morrell.
Aye.
And Councilmember Mello.
Madam Clerk, before you call me for the roll, Councilmember Campbell has joined us remotely.
Councilmember Campbell.
Aye.
Thank you. And Councilmember Mello.
Aye.
The result of the roll call vote is 7 ayes and 0 nays.
On a vote of 7 ayes and 0 nays, the consent agenda is adopted. And as indicated for the record, Councilmember Campbell has joined us virtually. So we are at section 8 of our agenda. Excuse me, we're going to come back to section 6, messages from the executive, judges, and the prosecuting attorney. There is a message from the executive transmitting the following ordinance, which he did approve and sign on May 2nd, 2024. They included 3 ordinances. Ordinance 2024-517, an ordinance of the Pierce County Council amending ferry fares. Secondly, ordinance 2024-521, which was an ordinance of the Pierce County Council ratifying the collective bargaining agreement with Teamsters 313. And finally, the executive signed ordinance 2024-522S, which was an ordinance of the County Council amending the Pierce County Council's rules of procedure. That now brings us to section 8, proclamations, recognitions, and awards. Today, the Council proclaims May 2024 as Juror Appreciation Month in Pierce County. I'd like to invite the following participants to the podium. As Councilmember Hitchen reads this proclamation into the record, they include the Honorable Timothy Ashcraft, presiding judge for Superior Court, Chris Gaddis, administrator for our Superior Court, and Michelle West, also staff with the Superior Court. Councilmember Hitchen.
Thank you, Chair. A proclamation of the Pierce County Council proclaiming May 2024 as Juror Appreciation Month in Pierce County, Washington. Whereas the county city building has a rich history of recognizing jurors, and the county uses the month of May as an opportunity to express its gratitude to our jurors who participate in the jury processes throughout the year. And whereas Pierce County District and Superior Courts depend on jury participation, the right to trial by jury is one of one's peers is an important and unique part of our constitutional system of justice and the cornerstone of our republic. And without the help of citizens who serve as jurors, our justice system could not function. And whereas democracy and the rule of law are both founding values and guiding principles for the American way of life, and the duty of serving as a juror is a vital responsibility that upholds these principles. And whereas in 2023, the Pierce County Superior Court sent out over 145,200 jury summonses to its residents, and over 15,000 jurors dedicated themselves to completing their requested service. And whereas the Pierce County Council recognizes that the community members must take time away from their families and businesses to serve as jurors each year, often putting their lives on hold for the duration of their jury service, which can involve rearranging work responsibilities, making alternate care arrangements for children or family members, rescheduling medical and dental appointments, and performing household and work-related duties in the evenings and on weekends to make up for time spent in trial. They endure these inconveniences with grace and resilience. And whereas the courts in Pierce County rely on its residents to answer the call for jury service and guarantee one of the most basic important rights of our republic, now therefore be it proclaimed on the 7th day of May 2024 by the Pierce County Council that May 2024 is Juror Appreciation Month in Pierce County, Washington. We honor the efforts and sacrifices of jurors and encourage all residents of Pierce County to support their local justice system by completing their jury service when called upon. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's give them a round of applause. Judge Ashcraft.
Thank you, Councilmember Mello and members of the council. Thank you for this proclamation for recognizing our wonderful, hardworking jurors. And as the proclamation states, jurors are amazing. And I know that every jury that I have, I remind of how important they are to the system and that we really cannot do this without them. And what I am so constantly amazed at is the dedication of our jurors. And as the proclamation mentioned, when they have to be away from their families and their jobs and their lives, they make it work, and often at great inconvenience to themselves. But I'm also greatly impressed with their dedication to what they do when they come in, and how seriously they take their jobs. And it's just such an amazing thing to me of seeing 12 people who don't know each other come together and serve our community and serve our system of justice. And Again, I'm so impressed with our jurors that they come in and at a great sacrifice and do such a wonderful job for us. And we are just very grateful to the jurors of Pierce County.
Thank you, Judge Ashcroft. Anything from your staff to add? They here for moral support?
Chris Gaddis, Court Administrator, Council members, Council Chair, thanks for giving us the opportunity to brag about our jurors. It is a wonderful opportunity for the citizens of Pierce County to come into our building and help us support the democratic and the justice process. So it's a great honor for them. It's a great honor for us that they were willing to come in and take the time. We do have some fairly exciting news as far as the jury pay pilot coming later this year. The Washington State Legislature has approved an increase in that pay for the pilot. Originally, it was only going to be $50. Now we will be able to pay for probably 6 to 7 months up to $100 per day per juror. So compared to 10, I'd certainly take an extra $90 in my pocket for each day that I serve. So that's going to be very exciting. The results of that will hopefully spur a little better conversation in Olympia about the importance of increasing pay statewide, because we can't do it alone. It's a big hit to the Pierce County budget if we were trying to increase the number, and so that this pay pilot is critical to really determining can we increase not only diversity but lower the amount of summons that we send out, which saves us money, and in turn we can maybe give that back to the jurors.
Thank you for that update, Mr. Gaddis. That's going to be one of the things I asked you for today, so thank you for being proactive in that way.
You don't have to speak, but you're more than welcome to.
As my second year up here doing this, I'm very grateful again for your continued support as well. And I just wanted to let you know that this year it was kind of special for me as well, because I had the privilege of collaborating with Thurston Clark in King County as well. We, us administrators of jury, spoke together and said, how can we make this year more special? And we had fun, food and stickers, and it was just really a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to next year.
Thank you, Ms. West,
Thank
and
you.
thank you for your leadership and coordination, massive logistical operation to support our jurors.
And I'm sorry for the parking issues every once in a while.
It's a lot to organize. I'll open it up to my colleagues for any council remarks. We'll begin with Councilmember Denson.
Yes, thank you, Chair. It's amazing, as big as this county is, that on several occasions, I guess I'm pointing this direction, I've run into people on Monday morning that I know that are there in line for jury duty. There was a Gig Harbor firefighter a couple months ago that I ran into, and then just yesterday I got a text from a former neighbor who was here. She'd seen me walk by, and then I got to see her today. She was dismissed from the jury, and it's just so neat to see how, although it is an inconvenience, I rarely hear people grumbling about it. People that I know, they so appreciate being part of this unique process and the ability to make sure that we live in a just society, that everyone I talk to is really honored and excited about the opportunity. And the firefighter, I remember he was chosen, so I got to see him every day for a couple weeks. And then my neighbor was let go, but she was so appreciative of the opportunity to serve. And I know you all do a good job, making sure that it's as convenient and straightforward as possible, and they know where to go when they get here, and hopefully there's not too many parking issues. I will say I always feel bad if it's really rainy out there, and sometimes I'm here early, 7:15, and there's a line of people, which is awesome, right? Because they want to be here on time, and I just feel like we should have a bank of umbrellas or something to pass out, because there are poor people standing in the rain. But it's just awesome to see how many people really value that opportunity, and we hold that really dear. So thank you all for your hard work. I saw Mr. Gaddis last night in Gig Harbor representing the Superior Court for an event there, and I just thank you for all you do out in the community.
Thank you, Councilmember Herrera.
Thank you, Chair. And, jury duty, some people say, it's a civic duty. And I think it was talked about in the Constitution that a jury trial is a constitutional right. I think it's Amendment 6 and 7 or something like that. And it talks about that. There's not too many countries in the world that have jury trials. They have maybe versions of it, but not like how we have our system. And there's several, and so the jury trials, some people may say that jury trials prevent tyranny in some aspects, absolute power of government or one entity making command decisions over people's lives. Jury trials, they're the opposite of tyranny because they put the power into the citizens' hands to give the final decision at the end of that. So it's kind of a really big deal. If you really boil it all down, the way our Constitution was written for jury trials and being judged by your peers is a really big deal, and it hasn't happened throughout mankind's history in some aspects. This is pretty special stuff. So if you're called to jury duty, it should be an honor, and it is because it really puts the power into the people. So, thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Councilmember Hitchin.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you all for taking some time to come up to the 10th floor and hang out with us for a few minutes to recognize our jurors, the work that your staff does to help them, the bias training and the how to do this job that they're asked to do maybe once in a lifetime, maybe 10 times in a lifetime. I still haven't figured out that, but it's one of those things that really is phenomenal. And then the conversations you have with jurors when they're trying to figure out where they're going to go, they just, again, they're so serious, and they take it, they don't take this duty lightly. So it's instilled with what you do and pass along, and just really appreciate, because it takes a lot every day to help shepherd them through the processes. So I appreciate your patience and your energy to make sure that happens so that they feel welcome and they're part of the process. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Councilmember Coover.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to say I envy your ability to take so many people and gather them and get them to the right places. That you make it look easy, and I know it's not, and it creates a much more enjoyable experience for the jurors. And I'm dealing with so many different personalities and thoughts. I just thank you for your patience and what you do. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. As my colleagues indicated, we are really grateful that we're here today with the leadership of the court, and through you, trying to express our appreciation to you who move mountains to make the process as seamless as we can and as painless as we can. But no doubt it's a commitment. It is a change of someone's schedule, and no doubt it is a lot to ask someone to leave just one day of their regular life and all the commitments they have, much less days and weeks to serve. It is a commitment. It is a sacrifice. It does turn some people's lives upside down, and with a lot of hardship. So with that, we know you you understand that hardship. It is hard for people to change their schedules and all their commitments. And sometimes people go without pay if they have shift work, and they don't get paid if they don't show up for work. There's a lot of people in that circumstance, or they have to find care if they have to come and do this civic commitment, care for their elderly parent or their young person. Sometimes it costs people money to do their civic duty, and that's a lot to ask. It's a big sacrifice, and so we're hopeful that you can show our appreciation in the many ways we know you are working to do. We will certainly do that through our communication channels. We are sincerely appreciative of people, especially those that have to endure a lot of hardship to do this service. And you're doing things to try to lessen that hardship just a little bit more. For example, the pay pilot. How do we increase the $10 a day current payment to $100 a day? You give bus passes, free bus passes through the jury summons, so that those who do have access to transit can ride transit for free and get to their commitment. Doesn't work for everybody, but it does work for many. So it's not a solution for everybody, but it's a solution for many. I've also noticed other things. There's other logistical things that you've implemented over the recent time to lessen the hardship on people. For example, you've really I'm sure there's a lot behind the scenes, but you've moved to a system where people can call in every day, so they don't have to just show up and wonder if they're getting selected that day and if they're going to be useful. And you sit in the corner and read a book for days on end. But you can call ahead and see if you need me or not. And if you don't need me the night before, I can know, and I can go about my day and go to work or my other commitments in life. That kind of acknowledgement that this is a real hardship and that you're trying to create systems so that people can lessen that sacrifice and is just really, really helpful. And we encourage you to keep deploying those kinds of systems to use these volunteers' time as wisely as possible. So thank you for the innovation. Thank you for treating our jurors with respect that they deserve and making the whole experience as rewarding and respectful as possible. We'd love for you to come up here and take a photo so we can help promote our appreciation to jurors. Thank you again to our jurors. Well, next, the council is really pleased to proclaim this week, May 6th through the 10th, as Affordable Housing Week here in Pierce County. I'd like to invite Amanda DeShazo, Executive Director of the Tacoma-Pierce County Affordable Housing Consortium, to the podium as I have the honor of reading this proclamation into the record. Amanda, thank you for joining us. Well, this is a proclamation of the Pierce County Council proclaiming the week of May 6th through the 10th, 2024, as Affordable Housing Week here in Pierce County. And it reads, whereas all people should have access to decent, safe, and healthy affordable housing, and the escalating crisis of housing affordability impacts all civic sectors and interests essential for vibrant community living. And whereas Pierce County's 2024 Comprehensive Plan Periodic Update must make plans to accommodate for more than 32,000 new housing units in unincorporated Pierce County, of which nearly 2/3 are needed for low-income households. And whereas Pierce County recognizes the impact that a lack of affordable housing, especially a lack of affordable housing in areas of opportunity, has on everything from transportation, public health, and racial and social justice. This also includes economic development, child welfare, educational outcomes, and physical, mental, social, and family well-being, all of which impact the social determinants of our health. And whereas Black households in Pierce County have a home ownership rate 32% lower than white households, and Latino households have a home ownership rate 20% lower than their counterpart white households. And whereas advancing policies and initiatives that prioritize fair and equitable housing opportunities and outcomes promote inclusive communities and advance racial equity and social justice. And whereas Pierce County has developed a cohesive strategy to support individuals and families across the housing spectrums of income and housing needs by uniting the goals of Pierce County's Housing Action Strategy, the Comprehensive Plan to End Homelessness, the Behavioral Health Improvement Plan, and the Tacoma Lakewood Pierce County Continuum of Cares goals into the 6-year expenditure and implementation plan for what we call the Maureen Howard Affordable Housing Act to support housing development and supportive services. And whereas Pierce County has funded the construction of more than 1,000 housing units since 2016 and has a pipeline of more than 3,500 units being constructed in the coming years. And whereas the City of Tacoma's Growing Resilience in Tacoma Guaranteed Income Pilot Program, in partnership with Washington State, Pierce County, and the United Way of Pierce County, has provided meaningful insights into how lowering the cost burden of essential needs like housing can truly help stabilize families and enhance the overall well-being of our community. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed on this 7th day of May, 2024, that the Pierce County Council proclaims May 6th through the 10th, 2024, as Affordable Housing Week in Pierce County, Washington, and affirms its commitment to expanding affordable housing through innovative cross-sector partnerships and collaboration. We urge nonprofit organizations, funders, private developers, government agencies, and businesses to collaborate across various sectors to address this shortage of affordable housing and attract resources that will increase efficiency and support the further development of more affordable housing in Pierce County to build a healthier community for all. Let's give them a round of applause. Mrs. Shazo.
Yeah, such a long proclamation, but such a beautiful one at the same time. Good evening, Chair Mello and council members and fellow community members. Happy Affordable Housing Week. I love saying that. My name's Amanda DeShazo, like I was introduced. I'm the Executive Director of the Affordable Housing Consortium. We are a membership-based nonprofit. We advocate and educate for the promotion of development of affordable housing and the preservation of affordable housing. So at a time when 52% of Pierce County residents are cost burdened, paying more than 30% of their income towards rent, we are incredibly grateful to the Pierce County Council for proclaiming Affordable Housing Week. This proclamation powerfully acknowledges the critical importance of affordable housing in our community. By spotlighting this issue, you raise awareness and further demonstrate your commitment to creating a more equitable and inclusive community for all residents. And I'm so proud to be able to stand here today and tell you that this year is the most funding we have ever seen for affordable housing development, and it's due to your leadership in passing the Maureen Howard Affordable Housing Act. Funding from Pierce County, SHAPE, and City of Tacoma alone totals over $26.5 million. In speaking with the housing managers in Tacoma and Pierce County, we concluded that this is the most robust pipeline for affordable housing we've ever seen in Pierce County. Over the past 2 years, our members alone have structured 30 affordable housing development deals for a total of 2,625 units. This is why we celebrate and proclaim Affordable Housing Week, not just to recognize the need for affordable housing in our community, but to make sure we take time to honor our developers, our businesses, advocates, and government partners, such as yourselves, for supporting this work. It's not easy, and we need champions such as this council to make a statement that every individual deserves access to safe, stable, and affordable housing. So thank you all very much. And in light of Affordable Housing Week, the consortium is hosting a bunch of events, such as webinars, panels, networking events, and community tours. And we invite all of you to join us, everybody in this room, to address our housing challenges in our community. And for those interested, you can definitely visit our website and register to partake in our activities that we're having. So in closing, I wanted to express my heartfelt gratitude to you and the entire community for your unwavering support of affordable housing initiatives. Your support is not just appreciated, but it's integral to our work. And together we can make a positive impact and ensure every individual has a place to call home. So thank you for this proclamation and for your dedication to our shared vision of a more equitable future.
Thank you so much. Are there remarks by other council members? Councilmember Hitchin.
Thank you, Chair. I was hoping I wouldn't be first, but thank you so much for being here and for the work you're doing and the education that you're doing around this by kind of getting the word out around what this means. One of the things that I always think about when we talk about affordable housing is the misconception of who is actually needing to access affordable housing. We have a lot of our community members that are absolutely 100% employed, or both members of their household are 100% employed, and they are working their tails off and they can't make things meet, whether it's debt from college or medical debt. Maybe there's something on their record that is causing disparities, or they just don't have jobs that pay enough to get into the current market. But no matter what it is, we want them to be housed, because the unintended consequences of being houseless, of not having a place to call home, are learning deficiencies, greater access to traumatic events. Things can go wrong in your life. If there's kids, it's ACEs, and just all the things that come from instability. And so having a place that you know you can go home to, whatever that looks like, and home can look very different for a lot of different people, but having a place that you can go at the end of the workday, the end of the school day, that stability is incredibly important. And we need to make sure as a county that we are opening doors at all the different levels for all of our community members. So appreciate the stats that are in here, and that we're really making some headway in a variety of places in our county, and we just need to keep doing it because we're very behind. And so that's part of why we're doing as much as we can. Thank you, Chair, and thank you for being here.
Thank you. Councilmember Morell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate the comments of Councilmember Hitchin pertaining to housing for all. This proclamation is more focused to lower income, but I'm looking at affordability as a interesting term nowadays, because even if someone wants to buy a home anywhere in Pierce County, affordability becomes a challenge, especially with interest rates escalating, has moved a lot of people out of that American dream of home ownership. So there are challenges definitely out there, and as a council, we have to understand that. And I appreciate the work of this council on the Maureen Howard Affordable Home Act that we did pass, but we also understand that there's a whole other group that define affordability a little bit different. And so with that, I am in support of this proclamation. Not that I agree with all the whereases, but enough in there that I will support it. So I appreciate the work that you do and multiple other organizations out there, because it is something that I think in the past have not fully engaged in. And now that we're earning a seat at the table, per se, I think they're again building the low-income housing that we need to meet those 30%, 50%, 80% AMIs is at least something that we can focus on. And there again, like I say, I thank all the realtors, the land development, the builders, title companies, everyone involved in these transactions, because they all lend something to it. So thank you, Mr. Chair, appreciate it.
Thank you, Councilmember Morell. Don't forget the lenders, the people who finance the projects.
Oh, those guys.
There's a lot to the ecosystem of building housing, for sure. Well, thank you for all you're doing to put on Affordable Housing Week in Pierce County. As is noted, there is something every day this week. There's learning opportunities, networking opportunities, tours, so many different ways for folks to expand their thinking and network. And that's also, part of what the Affordable Housing Consortium does, not only this week, but year round. You help bring the huge ecosystem together of what it takes to build, in this case, affordable housing, affordable to people making 80% or lower of the area's median income. And those are folks working full-time jobs every single day. They wake up every single day working hard and still can't afford to often live in the community that they live in. And so we're fighting for more housing units for people who wake up every single day, work hard, come home. And so it's not just during Affordable Housing Week, but your consortium puts together an advocacy plan and tells folks like us, these are really some of the pain points in the affordable housing world, and we really need to solve for that problem or this problem. And that one maybe not so much, but these are worth your time. So, I know your members really lean on you to help organize that, and we're creating a pipeline, as you've indicated in your remarks. We've created a pipeline of affordable housing units. Higher than any time ever, and it's not a coincidence that it's on the heels of us passing the Maureen Howard Affordable Housing Act. It is exactly because we are investing our own local dollars so that our affordable housing development community can leverage that financing and get state and federal grants and be competitive finally for the Housing Trust Fund, be more competitive for low-income housing tax credits at the federal level. That is exactly why we have a bigger pipeline. It's not a coincidence. It's because we passed the Maureen Howard Affordable Housing Act and are putting local dollars here. Exciting news, the first project we funded with Maureen Howard Affordable Housing Act dollars, the Copper Way project in Spanaway, 256 units in Spanaway, all affordable at 80% of the area median income or lower, is set to open this summer. I'm not going to put a date on it because we don't have a date, but we're helping to work out some kinks for their certificate of occupancy. But if you go by there now, you see fully erect buildings and places where families are soon going to move in, and very confident that they're going to be able to welcome 256 new families in these permanently affordable units this summer. We just passed that financing about a year ago. That's lightning speed for housing development, lightning speed. So this is one of many projects to come that's going to make more families so much more stable. So we're celebrating a lot, but thank you for your leadership in what you're doing to organize our affordable housing community so they can build more units. It's really that simple. Build many, many, many more units. Come on up here, please, and accept this proclamation.
Yeah.
Sorry. There are no ordinances on today's agenda. We're going to move back to the items we pulled from our consent agenda. We pulled one of them, but the other person is here. Lindsay Dodge. Welcome, Lindsay. We already approved you, so you can say whatever you want, and it's all good. Lindsay, we appreciate you taking time. We would invite you to the podium. Thank you for taking time to make your way to the County City Building. Again, we already approved the resolution. We had the benefit of your resume and application material that were in our packet, so we had the benefit of reviewing that. But again, thank you for being here. We'd love to just give you an opportunity to address the council and briefly introduce yourself and say why you want to serve.
Sure. Thank you for inviting me. I'm Lindsay Dodge. I'm an art teacher and a painter, and I feel deeply about being involved in art communities and making sure that art is accessible for everybody. And I think I've had experience as running a service program at my school, but also being department head. And I think those two things go really well when thinking about serving on the council and working with all these other artists. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you again for making your way here. It's a production to get downtown and away from the rest of your busy life, but we already did approve this resolution and confirmed your appointment. Thank you for your willingness to serve. The Arts Commission does very important work. We're excited about what they do to add character to our neighborhoods and our community and also the many economic development opportunities. Are there remarks before we move on to our next appointment? Councilor Herrera?
Thank you, Chair, and thanks for stepping up. It's really important work. I think I said this before to some of our Arts Commission people, that people in the future kind of grade people's civilizations by what the art that is left. So it's really important work that you do, and not just for the future, but for the present. So, thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Councilmember Morell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for stepping up and taking this vital role. I think art plays a huge role in how we define communities. And I appreciate Councilmember Campbell's initiative pertaining to the traffic boxes, wraps. I drive around the county, and the diversity of artwork on those is amazing. And I think there again, that lends to a sense of community. It provides a calm and something to reflect on when you're waiting for that red light to change. So I appreciate there again anyone volunteering for these type of roles, and hopefully you can make it into a civics lesson for your students also, that they would engage in government as they progress through life. So thank you for doing this. Appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Thank you, Lindsay.
Thank you
so much. If there's no objection, Council, I'd like to go to Proposal R 2024-161. That's the other appointment we pulled off of the consent agenda. Councilmember Morell for a motion, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move proposal number R 2024-161.
Okay.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we approve Resolution 2024-161. Madam Clerk, please read the title.
Proposal number R 2024-161, a resolution of the Pierce County Council confirming the appointment of two new members, Carolyn Robertson Harding and Sonia Lakima Ma, to the Pierce County Human Services Citizens Advisory Board. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have these individuals with us? Please come to, thank you for being here. Please come to the podium. We invite you to introduce yourself briefly and share why you want to serve. We have the benefit of your backup material, but we're so grateful that you made time to be here.
Thank you, Councilmember Mello. First, I want to thank Councilmember Morell, and I'll try not to cry, but I'm going to cry anyway, so you'll just have to deal with that. Thanks for encouraging me to volunteer. My name is Carolyn Robertson Harding, as you mentioned. I live in the city of Buckley with my husband, Dave. We are so blessed to have 9 children as a blended family and 11 grandchildren. I'm active in my community as a board member for the Chamber of Commerce and also for our newly formed Lodging Tax Advisory Board. I have 2 reasons for volunteering on this committee. One is that I want to represent the people in our community, in Buckley and our local area, and also East Pierce County. The senior center staff, Chloe, mentioned that, we don't get a lot of information about some of that stuff, and it'd be really good to have somebody that lived locally to benefit from that. The other is personal. I wanted the opportunity to share and encourage and support families who have lost a child or a family member to addiction. It affects all of us in so many ways. And I think, both for me personally, I think it's part of the grieving process. It's been about 18 months now since we lost our son, Andrew. It will help me and maybe others to share our journey and what that's meant to us, and to encourage and support them and help to provide sources of help and resources to families that need those.
So thank you for the support and thank you for the confirmation. I appreciate it.
We're very sorry for your loss. Thank you for being here and your willingness to serve. Is Sonia available? Want to make sure. I don't see Sonia in our Zoom room. We do have the benefit of both these appointees' backup material and background material in our electronic packet. Are there questions or comments by council members before we open up for a public hearing? Councilmember Morell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You got me going now. I might be the one crying. There again, it's all about trying to get people involved, especially individuals that are very passionate about their community. I know in talking to Carolyn and just her history, and then talking about her loss, it's challenging not to shed a tear, and you know, no parent wants to go through the loss of a child, especially due to substance abuse. I just appreciate her understanding that this may be part of the grievance process, that she can give back just on an intimate level the insight of what happens when you do lose someone. And I appreciate her stepping forward because she is a busy lady with a career. And so with that, like I said, anyone willing to step forward and volunteer for any of our committees, I truly appreciate it, because they don't even get $10. So thank you for that. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Councilmember Hitchin.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Carolyn, for volunteering for this. And I just wanted to point out or share with you that August 31st is International Overdose Awareness Day, and we always try and acknowledge that. So if the loss, I'm not pressing on, but I just want you to know that in community we meet and hold events across the county about the fellowship of what that pain is, because it's different for everyone, but sometimes knowing you're not alone. So just August 31st, the health department does a really nice job, but there's also a lot of different agencies that do that. So just wanted to flag that for you while you were here. And thank you for serving. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Councilmember Cruver.
Thank you, Chair. Carolyn, I haven't known you all that long, but I was pretty excited to see that you were signing up to be a volunteer for this commission, because I know that you have the passion and you're busy, and if you want to get something done, you ask someone who's busy to get it done. And I hadn't seen this side of you, and it's good to know that's there. And I just know you're going to be an excellent addition to the team there, and I look forward to working with you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Not seeing any other hands, so we'll open this up for a public hearing on the confirmation of the appointment of 2 new members to the Pierce County Human Services Citizens Advisory Board. Any member of the public wish to provide comment? We'll start here in chambers. Not seeing any. Mr. Weinsbury, anybody in our Zoom room?
Yes, sir. For any members of the public who wish to provide comment on proposal number R 2024-161, press the raise hand icon in Zoom or star 9 on your telephone keypad. And it looks like we have one hand this time. Chair, HP, please state your name for the record.
I'm Terry Hurd, Mr. Chairman. I have to say it's hard listening to people when they come up with dealing with the substance abuse. My extended family reached out and tried to save a young individual, but the state put her back into the same category, or a home where she was, and now she's halfway gone, lost to drugs, and we can't deal with her, but we're still trying to save. It's very hard for people to come by and try to address the needs of those young people or other people who become lost to drugs. So I wish to support that people that are stepping forward in this proposition that you put forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
And at this time, we have no other hands, Chair.
Seeing no further hands, we'll close the public hearing, bring it back to the council. Thank you for your willingness to serve. Our Human Services Department does a lot of various things to support many vulnerable people, and very, very important work. So we really appreciate the advice and counsel of community members. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll on Resolution 2024-161?
Excuse me. Councilmember Herrera.
Aye.
Councilmember Hitchin.
Aye.
Councilmember Morrell.
Aye.
Councilmember Campbell.
Aye.
Councilmember Cruver.
Aye.
Councilmember Denson.
Aye.
And Councilmember Mello.
Aye.
The result of the roll call vote is 7 ayes and 0 nays.
On a vote of 7 ayes and 0 nays, the resolution is adopted. We have before us Resolution 2024-150S. Councilmember Cruver for a motion, please.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to move R150-S. 150-S.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 2024-150S. Madam Clerk, please read the title.
Proposal number R 2024-150S, a resolution of the Pierce County Council identifying street lighting and other neighborhood traffic projects for funding pursuant to ordinance number 2023-4040S2, 2024 through 2025 biennial budget, and requesting the county engineer to review and authorize said projects. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Taylor, to brief the council.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon. The proposal before you begins at page 33 of your electronic packet. As the title indicates, this proposal relates to the council's annual list of neighborhood traffic safety projects. The resolution identifies specific projects that the council would like to see funded and implemented pursuant to an appropriation in the 2024-2025 budget. That appropriation is for County Road Project 5950, which is the Council Traffic and Safety Improvement Program. $150,000 of funding is provided for fiscal year 2024. The proposal before you addresses how those funds would be utilized. With the resolution is an exhibit, Exhibit A. This resolution is organized by council district. It identifies desired projects for each of the 7 council districts. A total of 24 projects are included in that exhibit. The proposal was reviewed by your Economic and Infrastructure Development Committee. It did receive a due pass as substituted recommendation. There was one amendment at committee. I will note that there's also one amendment that's proposed today. I'd be happy to run through that amendment once it has been placed on the floor for action. That amendment is at page 37 of your packet. I will also note that we do have the County Traffic Engineer, Sarah Grice, that's available in the Zoom lobby today if you have any questions. And with that, Mr. Chair and council members, I'll stand by and answer questions or describe the amendment as appropriate.
Thank you. Ms. Grice, anything to add on behalf of the department?
Nothing yet to add. Hugh does a great job with this, so I am available if you have any questions.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being available. Council members, any questions or comments before we offer Amendment 1? I don't see any. Councilmember Herrera to move Amendment 1, please.
I move Council Amendment number 1.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we adopt Council Amendment number 1. Mr. Taylor.
Thank you. So Council Amendment number 1 is sponsored by Councilmember Herrera. This amendment would add one new project in Council District 2. The project is a traffic calming project along Woodland Avenue, specifically the segment of Woodland between 128th Street East and 144th Street East. The project is an evaluation for potential traffic calming measures on that road segment. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Herrera, do you want to speak to your amendment?
Sure. Thank you, Chair. This is an amendment, a project that came from a constituent that had concerns about some traffic calming and wanted to take a look at some of these things. We wanted to have an evaluation to see what we can do in the future. And I encourage a yes vote on this. I believe that Some of these can be prioritized in some aspects. I know there's a lot on there, and we're looking to get this on there. So thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Any questions or comments on Amendment 1? Not seeing any. We'll take a voice vote. All those in favor of adopting Council Amendment number 1, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. The motion is adopted. We have the proposal in front of us as amended. So we're going to move to a public hearing on Resolution 2024-150S as amended here. We'll begin here in council chambers. Any member of the public wish to provide comment, please come to the podium. State your name for the record. Not seeing anybody here for this resolution. Mr. Weinsberry, anybody in our Zoom room?
Yes, sir. For any members of the public who wish to provide comment on proposal number R 2024-150S, press the raise hand icon on Zoom or *9 on your telephone keypad. And there are no hands at this time, Chair.
Seeing no hands, we'll close the public hearing, bring it back to the council. Are there final remarks by council members? Councilmember Hitchin.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to thank and acknowledge, I'm sure many of you were inspired by community feedback and emails that came in with requests. We don't drive our roads at all hours of the day. We don't see all the things that show up. Neither do our planning and public works staff. And so this is a great way to draw our attention of safety concerns with everybody watching. So appreciate the way this is set up and allows us to identify areas that maybe nobody was aware it was a concern, and we find out ahead of time before we lose anybody, which I think is the goal here. So appreciate the way this works and the work that goes into it. So thank you, Ms. Grice, to you and the team, and thank you, Mr. Taylor, for your work on this. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Many of these projects, none of them are in District 4, not because I don't think the staff and my colleagues are upset with me. Well, maybe they are, but that we just don't have unincorporated areas in District 4. So none of these are in my district. But as I observe my colleagues and talk to many of my colleagues about the projects they're advocating for, most of them come from community members that are, as Councilmember Hitchens said, they come from community members where they've identified a safety issue or something that is a potential safety issue that they've observed firsthand. It's a form of, I think, participatory budgeting. Vice Chair Campbell has been a longtime proponent of participatory budgeting, getting community members are really involved in identifying problems and potential solutions and solutions that need money. So this is an example of participatory budgeting, I think, where community members can identify needs in their community, and as we have resources, we can address those, and folks can see something being improved that they brought to our attention. So it's a great example. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll on Resolution 2024-150S?
Yes. Councilmember Hitchin.
Aye.
Councilmember Morrell.
Aye.
Councilmember Campbell.
Aye.
Councilmember Cruver.
Aye.
Councilmember Denson.
Aye.
Councilmember Herrera.
Aye.
And Councilmember Mello.
Aye.
The result of the roll call vote is 7 ayes and 0 nays, sir.
On the vote of 7 ayes and 0 nays, the resolution is adopted. That brings us to Section 10, Community Forum. Community Forum is an opportunity for members of the public to address the council on any topic that is of significance to or affecting Pierce County government and that did not appear on today's agenda. There is a 3-minute time limit. We ask you to state your name if you would like it on the record and that you address all comments to the chair. We'll start with those in council chambers. Anybody here in chambers wanting to participate in Community Forum? We welcome you very much. Thank you for being here. Please come to the podium. Again, please state your name for the record. There's a timer on the television to your right.
Thank you. My name is David Hill. I'm a resident of the Orkney Valley and a member of the SR 162 community group. I'd like to begin by thanking all of you for any time you've taken to read our mailings. We hope that it provided you with some insight into the need for an east-west connectivity of the transportation network in Pierce County. We also appreciate the opportunity to present what we feel is a viable solution to that connectivity, and that's the 128th Street corridor. We have recognized the importance of approaching this project in phases, starting with the urgent need to connect the missing section of 128th Street from the Orting Valley to the South Hill Plateau. In 2027, the completion of a new Rhodes Lake Road corridor that will connect Bonnie Lake Transportation Network to 128th Street ending at 162 will result in a network failure and a transportation crisis. Phase 2 focus on the minor improvements needed to the Reservoir Road as a direct connection from 128th in the Orting Valley to 128th on South Hill. This would include the addition of a mixed-use path to accommodate the multimodal cross-county corridor. The final phase is to make improvements to 128th Street across the South Hill to SR7, which will also include a mixed-use path for active transportation. This designated east-west corridor will open the door for a cross-county public transportation service to help reduce traffic volumes and to carry services from west to east Pierce County. This corridor will also remove pressure from north-south corridors like SR 161 and Meridian by dispersing traffic to alternate north-south corridors. So we will continue to move this proposal forward. It is critical to avoiding the East Pierce County Transportation Network crisis looming before us. I want to give special thanks to Council members Morell and Herrera for introducing an amendment to the periodic update of the comprehensive plan to include the 128th Street connection as a preferred alternative to the east-west corridor study. This is a critical step in prioritizing this proposal and moving it along the path to becoming a priority project. We request your support for this amendment. And finally, it is our honor working with this council, and we appreciate your support, and we look forward to working with you individually and as a body in the future. Thank you, Chair, for your leadership and your allowing us the time to speak.
Thank you for being with us. Thank you. Anyone else in chambers wanting to participate in community forum? Maxine? Christine? Christine, then Maxine.
Hello, members of the council. My name is Christine Nahn, and I'm with Puget Sound Energy. As you may know, we work year-round to prepare for and prevent wildfires throughout our service territory, especially here in Pierce County. This includes vegetation management, strengthening our power lines by installing tree wire, investing in new technologies to predict and detect wildfire, and working with local emergency management on response plans. As we approach this year's wildfire season, we want Pierce County residents to be prepared too. So on Thursday, May 16th, PSC will be hosting an in-person open house on our wildfire mitigation plan at Greenwater Community Center. You're welcome to come by anytime between 4:30 and 6:30 p.m. to chat with PSC staff and our community partners about PSC's wildfire program, emergency preparedness, and learning how you can prepare if there's a public safety power shutoff. Public safety power shutoffs are a new tool for PSC. It's when we proactively turn off select power lines in high-risk areas under extreme fire risk weather conditions. It's a tool of last resort to keep you and your community safe. You can learn more at our open house on Thursday, May 16th, or online at psc.com/wildfire. We'll also be hosting a virtual walkthrough of the open house on our website until June 21st, and we hope you can join us. Thank you.
Thank you. Christine, do you have information to leave?
I'm going to follow up, and I'll send everybody on the council an email, and then you can go online and make sure you can share it with your constituents as well.
That would be great. That's what I wanted to make sure we had, so we can share it through our communication channels and help get the word out. Thank you for hosting that open house so folks can learn more.
Thank you.
Ms. Hill.
Very interesting. Hi again. I'm Maxine Herbert Hill, resident of the Orting Valley and a member of the SR 162 community group. I would like to bring a little history on how we got to where we are today on the transportation issues in East Pierce County, and I'll be making this extremely brief. When Bonnie Lake Plateau was first granted development, it was for Cascadia. That development's proposal was for far fewer residents than Tahali has planned today. A golf course in that development was changed to homes. Densities were increased, so we have more than 20% more homes than initially planned for Cascadia. Yet the transportation impact did not change with the increases that were allowed. Therefore, with 9,700 residences in Tahali when they're fully built out, we are facing a far worse situation than initially envisioned as Cascadia development. That is what has caused us to be before you these past several weeks, pleading for relief and a creation of a corridor that will satisfy the demand that this new highway from the Bonnie Lake Plateau is bringing. With a concern of safety, environment, vehicle miles traveled, multimodal options, efficiency, and social impacts, I think it is clear that the 128th Street corridor is the only way we can meet these challenges. You should have received a copy of a document that showcases the value of the 128th Street corridor and how it fulfills the many aspects of the transportation element of the comprehensive plan. In light of the imminent completion of the new Bonnie Lake Tahali Highway, this is extremely urgent. It takes many years to achieve what we are seeking. It needs to be done in 3 years to meet the demand upon us, but that is impossible. This, however, makes it extremely urgent project. We ask your support for the proposed amendment citing 128th as a preferred alternative in the search for an east-west corridor and, when the time comes, for funding the necessary studies to launch this new connection between SR 162 and South Hill. I want to thank you so much for your attention to the messages that we have sent and your attention to all the testimony and the accompanying handouts we have brought to this council over the past month or so. It has been a true pleasure to work with you all. While we will not be disappearing, today is the last in the planned series of presentations to you, and you can sigh of relief, right? We appreciate and respect the position and of responsibility each of you has. It's not an easy job. So again, thank you for hearing us and your attention to our issues and our request. Support the amendment and the budget that's needed to make the studies move ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We've enjoyed having you here.
Thank you.
We really have. Other members here in council chambers for community forum? I don't see any. Mr. Weinsbury, anybody in our Zoom room?
Yes, sir. For any members of the public who wish to provide comment, press the raise hand icon in Zoom or star 9 on your telephone keypad. And it looks like we have one hand at this time, Chair. HP, please state your name for the record.
Hi, I'm Terry Hurd. Mr. Chairman, common council members, I'd like to address the Canyon Road changes, the detours that have been put up. I understand that the detours were necessary due to the construction that's going on, but I really feel you need to put in several stop signs at those intersections that were left unaddressed for the diverted traffic flow. I have seen several near-miss accidents from people blowing through what they thought was fine. And if they have a stop sign on 200th Street or the other streets that have been designated as the detour route, it would, hopefully there's been no accidents that have taken a life yet, but I've seen them come really close, and I drive it almost every day. Thank you.
Thank you.
And at this time, I see another hand, Chair.
Seeing no hands, we'll close the public hearing, close the community forum portion of our meeting and bring it back to the council. Just briefly reflecting on some of what we heard today, we're very grateful to hear from our community about what's important to you. Mr. Hurd, I know our staff was taking notes, and we'll follow up with the Public Works Department about 200th and Canyon Road and potential interim safety measures that can be put in place. So we'll bring that to their attention and ask them to relook at that so that we can keep it safe during construction especially. Thank you for the information about the forum happening in Greenwater and the other open house to learn more about what Puget Sound Energy is doing to keep us safe. Thank you for following up with us so we can get the word out. And then the folks who have been here, the Hills who have been here, and others about 128th and presenting the council with some very viable and thoughtful options for us to consider. Thank you for helping us do our job better. We're at other business. Is there any other business by members? Councilmember Hitchin.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to, I know we are doing a proclamation around Hunger Awareness Month next week, but this weekend is Stamp Out Hunger, which is happening, and if I announced it next week, it's pointless. So if you have a mailbox and you have a bag, you can put your food out. And the weather should be nice, so it won't get rained on. I do have a request. Sometimes people use this as a clean out the pantry, and we have a lot of wasted food. So if that is your intent to clean out your pantry, if it truly is not, if it's expired, maybe put it in your yard waste bin, because now that's what we do after you take it out of the container. But if you want to contribute, this is a great way to do it. I know that there's several people, community groups that are getting together to sort and get the food ready and then get it to the EFN. So you should have gotten notification in your mail, but if you do not have a mailbox, it's a P.O. box, there's also places in our community to donate this month as we try and work as a community to address hunger. And then I just want to thank all the teachers and nurses and clerks. It's Teacher Appreciation Week, Nurse Appreciation Week. We acknowledged our clerks. So thank you to all of the people that do that work, that to care for others really is kind of what that is. Thank you to people that care for others. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Morrell.
Thank you. Just to bring the council up to speed, the much anticipated amendment that seems to be talked about on 128th will be in your packet on Friday. So thank you for your patience on that, and that's where the amendment will be. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Denson.
Thank you for clarifying that, Councilmember Morrell, because I was thinking, I don't remember that amendment, so I'm excited. I'm excited to see it. So thanks for working on that. I just wanted to give a quick thank you to all of the residents in District 7 that came out this weekend for our big District 7 spring cleaning event. Thank you to our Department of Planning and Public Works that contributed 20, oh boy, I'm not sure what the metric. Thank you. 20-yard dumpsters, which we filled on the Key Peninsula. I think we had them filled by like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So, I mean, we had piles of tires that one of our local auto mechanic shops actually took because we couldn't put those in the dumpsters. So his donation was to take and dispose of those. However, those are properly disposed of. We had a gentleman collecting all of the metal to take to a metal recycling facility, and then everything else, just all sorts of stuff filling these dumpsters. In addition to that, we had a number of Adopt a Road groups. EnviroCorps was out on one part of Gig Harbor. We had the Lake Sylvia group on another part of Gig Harbor. We had park cleanups happening in 4 or 5 of our parks. I'm not sure if the litter vacuum truck was out. I haven't heard about that yet, but I know it's planned to be out in that area and throughout the county. So thank you to all the residents who came out. We know litter is a huge issue. The county is taking it seriously and it's got some new initiatives going, but we still need the partnership of our residents, and they really showed up this weekend. So thanks so much to everybody.
Thank you, Councilmember Denson. Councilmember Herrera.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to remind everybody, May 5th through 11th is National Correction Officers Week. And I just wanted to highlight our correction officers who sometimes get forgotten a little bit in some aspects of the hard job that they have to do every day. They do it fairly, and they do it very professionally here in Pierce County. And I just wanted to give them a shout out for all the hard work that they do. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you for doing that. I don't see any other business or announcements by members. Mr. Taylor or Ms. Long, any other business for council this evening? Seeing no other business before the Pierce County Council, we are adjourned.